So close your eyes and picture this. The leader of government, who happens to be a conservative with a history of self-inflicted wounds and controversies, is implicated in another very serious scandal. He attacks, misleads, deflects every day, all the way long. Does it sound familiar? So here's the plot twist. What if instead of that leader's party circling the wagons and lying and backing him no matter what, they just said, you know what, enough is enough? What if instead of encouraging his supporters to storm the seat of government, engage in hand-to-hand combat, the leader walked away, resigned? While that might seem like alternate recent American history, it is in fact what happened today in the UK. Prime Minister Boris Johnson stepped down amid an avalanche of scandal, ranging from COVID lockdown parties to an expensive refurbishment of his Downing Street apartment, to the latest that he knew about serious sexual misconduct allegations against a man he then appointed to a government role. That decision met with celebration for many British voters. Here's Prime Minister, for now, Boris Johnson earlier today.
We've seen at Westminster, the herd instinct is powerful. When the herd moves, it moves. I know that there will be many people who are relieved, and perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world. But them's the breaks.
Let's bring into our coverage Matt Dowd, founder of Country Over Party, also an MSNBC political analyst. Katie and Rick are still with us. All right, Katie, take us inside. How did this come to pass?
So Boris Johnson, this larger-than-life character of a politician, very unusual in British politics, delivers a thumping landslide victory to the Conservatives about 3 years ago, and they love him. And he delivers Brexit for Britain, and then his habit, his personal habit of not being quite as forthcoming with the truth as they would have liked, in the latest instance, saying that he didn't know about senior leaders in his party's sexual allegations of sexual misconduct. They've now decided they've had enough of him. Basically, Nicole, politics is a brutal game. While Boris Johnson delivered majorities for the Conservative Party, they were happy to put up with his odd behavior, his unconventional behavior. Once it became clear that actually, as has been the case, the Conservative Party was going to lose local elections because of Boris Johnson's dramas and the chaos surrounding him, they got fed up with him. And it's a parliamentary system, and they pulled the rug very dramatically out from under his feet. It's very different from what happened with Donald Trump. Under 3 years, and the Conservative Party has had enough of Boris Johnson.
Katie, is the contrast an accurate one? I mean, does it ring true over there that the way his party reacted stands in stark contrast to the way Trump's party reacted when he lost and tried to overturn the election?
I mean, a bit like you, Nicole, I know I'm always a little cautious about making kind of domestic claims for an international audience and saying that things are exactly the same. They're not. There are very different systems. It's a parliamentary system, right. And things are not exactly the same. Actually, the comparison that has been made here in the last couple of days, and I'm in the UK at the moment, is that what happens if Boris Johnson now doesn't leave? He hasn't stepped down as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He is still Prime Minister of Britain. And there's even been comparisons made in the British media over the course of the last 12 hours saying maybe he's trying to do what Donald Trump did. Maybe he doesn't want to leave at all and he's just extending it rather than go tomorrow. Actually, he is, in a less violent way than we saw on January the 6th, going to subvert the normal process of democracy and find some way to wiggle out of this situation that he's in and carry on as Prime Minister of Great Britain. That seems unlikely, but that's the comparison that's being made here in the UK at the moment.
It is perhaps one of our sickest and saddest exports, Matt Dowd, the annihilation of norms and traditions. But if what Katie's talking about comes to pass, you can certainly draw a direct link back to Donald Trump's conduct when he lost.
Well, I agree with Katie on that, but I also think you can draw a link before all of that, as I think your piece led into this. I mean, the similarities between Donald Trump and Boris Johnson, there are many. The coarseness of him, the cruelty of how he conducted his politics, the corrupt way he basically attacked institutions and standards in the course of that But there's a huge difference, as we found out in the last 12 hours, which is one party was willing to hold Boris Johnson accountable, even if it was only for their own political skins. The other party, the Republican Party, has completely enabled and facilitated Donald Trump and will be on his bandwagon if he chooses to run again in the next 2024. And so I think the similarities are there. There are obviously difference in systems here, but the huge difference is if the majority of the cabinet of Donald Trump had said, we're resigning, we're out of here, or decided to employ the 25th Amendment, which is, I guess, our parliamentary version of what was done, Donald Trump would have been removed from office and we would have never heard from him again. And Republicans had an opportunity, obviously, as we know, in 2 impeachments to remove him in the Senate from office. They refused to do that. And so I give credit to the British system, though some of those cabinet members, I have to say, in Britain enabled Boris Johnson for many years in the course of this. And finally, I think they had enough, and whether it was for political purposes, that's all not about integrity. But they at least have a conservative movement that holds their leaders accountable. We lack that in the United States. And not only we lack accountability in the United States, they are actually empowering Donald Trump every single day by repeating every single lie and doing all the things in the coarse, cruel way he does them.